Good morning, everybody, or good evening, whenever you decide to click on this and watch it. Thanks for doing another daily dose with us. I want to talk this morning about worship a little bit, and I think that's appropriate on a Sunday morning. Again, maybe you've already done a worship service, as we call it. Maybe you're coming this morning, or maybe you're coming this evening sometime to a church, North Coast, or at least a church that's teaching the Bible. And it's ironic because someone had given me a shirt that said fish worship on it. Is it wrong? Because everyone, at least around here, knows I'm a fisherman. And I thought, it's kind of a cool shirt. And it kind of goes with this morning. What is worship? Sometimes we think of worship, we think of just music and lyrics. Because we've been entitled an entire genre of music, just worship music. And that can be a part of it. But I want to give you maybe a different thought to help you as maybe you haven't done a church service this weekend. We pick up a story as Jesus, the last week of his life, comes riding into Jerusalem. It's in Luke 19, verse 37. Luke 19:37, it says this. When Jesus came near the place where the road goes down the Mount of Olives, the whole crowd of disciples began joyfully to praise God in loud voices for all the miracles that they had seen. Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory in the highest. Now some of the Pharisees in the crowd said to Jesus, Teacher, rebuke your disciples. I tell you, he replied, if they keep quiet, the stones will cry out. And as he approached Jerusalem and saw the city, he wept over it. He said, if you, even you, had only known on this day what would bring you peace, but now it is hidden from your eyes. And the story goes on, but I want to stop there. That last week of Jesus' life, he rides into Jerusalem. As he gets into the city gates, the crowd will shout different things. But I love his disciples, the true followers, all started chanting, Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord, peace in heaven and glory in the highest. To come in the name of someone means to come in the power and the might of someone. They got this worship. It wasn't about having the right band. It wasn't about playing the favorite song. It was about seeing who Jesus is and understanding who Jesus is and giving him his worship, his due. It's an act that we're supposed to do every day in our lives. How we work, how we treat our spouses, how we treat our kids, how we treat classmates, how we treat roommates. We're supposed to worship God, honor him in our actions. But I just want to give you this thought, as maybe some of you haven't gone to church yet. When it's time where we do this as a body, as a congregation, musically, and with lyrics up on screens, can you just keep this image in mind? This little picture of this is a time where we come and we understand who God is, who his power is, who his might. Then on this day, he rode into my life to change my life. On this day, he came in to break the chains and the bondage, to ransom me, to free me. And God himself knows where worth is due. He goes, look, if you don't cry out, creation itself will bust out. There is a King of Kings. There is a Lord of Lords who deserves our all, our heart, our mind. So let me just encourage some of you that go, hey, this singing time in church, I don't really get into. Yeah, neither did I. Until I put myself in, man, this is a time and place with other brothers and sisters, the family of God. We get to stand before the throne of God. And just with my heart and mind, let him know who he is and his worth. All of our worship teams pick these songs that we sing, not because they're catchy or not because they're fun to play, but based on the lyrics, based on the theology, based on what we want as a church want to do, and just come and let God know who he is and the place he plays in our hearts and minds individually and together as a body. I encourage you, if you're not finding places in your life, where are you worshiping? Where are you just stopping and letting God know who he is, giving him his worth, centering yourself back in light of who he is? And I love Jesus' reply when the religious leaders didn't like that he was being praised. Tell your group to knock it off. Well, if they don't worship me, he said, the stones will scream out. I am a God who demands to be worshiped, not because he needs it for his ego. He knows he is creator. He is God. And he knows creation will do well to remember that for our sake and for his. If you haven't made it to church somewhere this weekend, go worship people. See you tomorrow.